Welcome back. You've heard the story before. An immigrant arrives in America short on money but big on dreams. He works hard, learning a new language and navigating a sea of strange customs and laws. Then ultimately finds fortune and success, even surpassing his American counterparts. Well, that scenario is certainly the case with this next story. But for R.K. Sehgal, his journey was more of an odyssey filled with instances of happenstance and fortuitous opportunity, all stemming from a promise made long ago. He tells his tale in today's Executive Profiles.
I understand that you were born into Indian royalty before you got on that infamous bus ride in Auburn, Alabama to attend the university. True or not true?
False.
False.
I was not born in Indian royalty. If you call the education family royalty, yes, that is true. My father was a teacher, then he became in the civil service, became the head of hospitality and tourism for the state of Punjab, a middle-class family. My mother sold all her jewelry, bought me a ticket. That's how I got to England. Then what happened? Worked in a Goodyear factory as a common laborer. And then after 3 years, my father heard that I'm still in England. He wrote me a long 9-page letter saying, you better leave because you promised that you go to United States. Whatever money I have, I bought the ticket, came by Queen Elizabeth to New York.
How do you get to Auburn, Alabama?
See, so I applied for the universities. I did not know anything about the education system in this country. So I went to the American embassy. They gave me a list of the American universities. In those days, the name of Auburn University used to be Alabama Polytechnic Institute. It starts with what?
A and a B.
And A and a B. So I always go for the top. So I said, this is the best place. So I applied. They accepted me. So then what happens? I go to Auburn, bus stops there, brought to Auburn Hall, so I rang the doorbell. According to my papers, Mrs. White was the house mother. So I rang the doorbell, this lady comes out, I say, Mrs. White? She said, no, she's my friend, she's on vacation, I'm covering for her. This was Jimmy Carter's mother, Lillian Carter. So we got to know each other. So on Thanksgiving, she invited me to her house in Plains. So I tell President Carter, Mr. President, I was at your house for Thanksgiving. I met you when you were nobody.
Let's fast forward. I mean, along the way, you've had an amazing career, law, engineering,
right.
Relationships with presidents, senators, kings.
And queens.
And queens.
Yes.
Talk to your amazing life for just a couple of minutes.
After I graduated from Auburn, and I looked for a job. The company was small, law engineering, and I want you to know at that day I was offered 3 jobs. So I joined law engineering. There was only 90 people in the company. The sales was less than $1 million a year, started in Birmingham. Things started getting better. So in 1982, I became the chairman and CEO of the company. It was about 8 or 9 branches, $40 million. In 1995, when I left, our gross sales was $1 billion. And we had 60 offices in this country, 40 overseas. So the list goes on. So after that, I became the Commissioner of Industry, Trade, and Tourism for the state of Georgia. So I enjoyed that 4 years with Roy Barnes. And then had traveled many, many miles with Andrew Young, who and I worked together all over the world. So it has been fun and very productive.
Speak about your relationship with Ambassador Young.
When Andy Young was 1 week before he was going to leave the mayorship, I went to him and I said, Andy, do you have a job? He said, no. I said to him, and I said, I'd like for you to come to work for my company as a vice chairman, this much money, more money that you're making, on and on. So what he did in the new office of the mayor, he got up and closed the door. Andy, is there something confidential you want to talk to me? He said, yes. He said he would like to run for the governor. Governor of Georgia. I said, Andy, Governor of Georgia is not ready for a black man. He said, well, I was the congressman. I said, congressman, the area is small. This is very big. So to make the story short, he said, this is his calling. You run and I make a proposition. We'll have a press conference saying that Andrew Young is going to work for law engineering. And then we'll give you leave of absence. If you win, we'll flex our muscle, that one of our employees, the governor of the state. If you lose, you come back as my vice chairman. The rest is history.
Business philosophy and words of advice for other young people coming to this country. What do you say to these young people?
I go visit a lot of high schools and all that. They talk about money. I said, that's the wrong emphasis. If you do the right thing, work hard, and have your heart at the right place, money comes automatically. Focus on what you want to do for the community, for yourself, and for other people. Don't worry about that. Just work hard and keep your mind focused.
So what are you most proud of?
The most proud of I am that I was able to help some people achieve their dream that they could not have completely on their own. So I'm very proud. I still mentor, with the grace of God, mentor a lot of people. Sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. But my efforts are always from my heart.
So what's next for you? You're not the kind of guy that I think is just going to slow down. Now what?
I serve on 9 boards. I'm on the board of Northside Hospital, the longest serving board member over there. Then I serve on educational institutes. Then I am a chairman of an energy company in England, renewable energy. So I keep my interest, not one side, health, education, energy. And then, that keeps me very, very motivated. So when I meet people like you and others, if I could be of any help, I do not see caste, color, creed, I just see people and human being. And that's where I get very focused, emotional, and enjoy my life every day.
Georgia's Industry, Trade, and Tourism, where RK was once commissioner, goes by another name today, the Department of Economic Development. The agency's been highly active in promoting the Peach State as a mecca for entertainment production. And by the looks of the growing number of TV and films currently calling Georgia home, it seems to be paying off big time. When we return, Patrick